Hey guys, I'm George, the nice medic gentleman, and it's time for your daily dose of some fragrance content. If you have been following me at least for a while, you know that I'm a big fan of the brand of Haramain and especially their Amber Oud line. I own Amber Oud Black Edition, Tobacco Edition, Ruby Edition, Gold Edition, and all of them are really nice. And a few months ago, Haramain released a few new fragrances in that Amber Oud line, and ever since then I've been trying to get my hands on a bottle of any of them. And I can finally say that I have Amber Oud Dubai Night in my hands. And in today's video I'm going to share with you how has been my experience with this fragrance, how it smells, how it performs, and whether it's worth spending your hard-earned money on it. All fragrances from the Amber Oud line that I've tried are clones or have been heavily inspired by famous designer and niche scents out there, and Dubai Night actually makes no difference. This one is also an inspiration on an interesting and quite famous niche fragrance. But before I talk about the scent and everything else, let's take a very quick look at the packaging and the presentation of the fragrance, and then I'll talk about the scent itself. As with all other fragrances from the Amber Oud line, the presentation is really nice. The fragrance comes packaged in this thick plastic box that feels of really nice quality, very sturdy. On the front you got the name of the fragrance, the name of the company, and also the concentration, which is extrait de parfum in this case, and the bottle size is 75 milliliters, and the bottle design is very similar, in fact exactly the same as every other member of the Amber Oud line. I really like the bottle design of this line of fragrances. It's nice, heavy bottle, thick glass, metal plaque on the front, metal cap which is a snug fit, and all around, you know, the packaging is very impressive and high quality. Another great feature of Dubai Night, Amber Oud Dubai Night, is the fact that it has a pressurized sprayer. As you can see, a great Dior-like sprayer, has really nice distribution, and it's of really nice quality. And now let's talk about the scent of this one. Now, as I said, just like any other fragrance from this line, this has also been inspired by a famous designer or niche scent. In this case, it's a niche fragrance. Now, I just wanted to point out something at the start of this video. If you read some, I don't know, some opinions on this fragrance, some sort of on reviews online, and if you see that this has been compared to Creed Aventus, just skip that review, skip that comment, because this is not a Creed Aventus clone. This doesn't smell like a Creed Aventus fragrance. This doesn't smell like Nishane Hashivat or anything like that. This is a clone of a completely different fragrance. And the fragrance that this has been inspired by is Montal's Arabian Tonka. It's not a direct clone, it's not a one-to-one clone of Arabian Tonka, but definitely smells similar to Arabian Tonka. Now, opens up with quite a bit of spiciness. There's a very strong saffron note which is mixed with a little bit of the rose that this fragrance has. You'll immediately pick up a bit of the agar oud note that this fragrance also has. There's a hint of citrusy freshness, but there's also quite a bit of sweetness with this one. Now, the official note breakdown I think has listed tonka bean and ambery sweetness, and this definitely feels like having a lot of sweetness, but I also pick up sort of a hint of, I don't know how to say it, like a fruity sweetness, and also the way that the sweet notes are, you know, bundled up or coupled up with everything else, especially in the first few minutes. This almost has a bit of a chocolatey feel to my nose, like a slight chocolatey smell to my nose. So it's a very interesting mix of the spices, of the slight freshness, of the florals, of the oud, and the sweet notes. When this goes into the dry down, it becomes a little bit more woody, it becomes a little bit sweeter. There's quite a bit of muskiness on the dry down with this one. Oak moss, there's a strong oak moss note. Maybe that's why this gets compared a little bit to Nishane Hashivat and Creed Aventus. I don't know why. You still get some of the florals, and the agar oud is still there, but it's not a very prominent agar oud note. It's not challenging, animalic, or anything like that. This smells very nice. This has very oriental type of scent that has a bit more sweetness added than your typical oriental fragrance, but also you know, has enough spiciness and woodiness to not come across like something overly sweet. The quality is superb, like I would expect from something from Haramain, and especially from this line of fragrances. and I've been quite enjoying the way that Dubai Night smells. When it comes to how close this fragrance is to the one that I personally find it to be closest to, and that's Montal's Arabian Tonka, I would say that this is a little bit less sharp in the opening. It's a little bit less spicy. To my nose, the saffron note in Arabian Tonka is stronger. Also, the type of sweetness that this one has is a little bit different. Arabian Tonka has more of that sort of a sugary type of sweetness, where in this fragrance I personally find it to be like a mix of some ambers, some fruits, as I said, and almost having this sort of a chocolatey vibe, which I personally don't find in Arabian Tonka. So it's something done in a similar style, but it's like a slightly softer version of Arabian Tonka, having a little bit of a different type of sweetness. And on the dry down, this actually strays a little bit more further away to the original scent, compared with that original scent, which is Arabian Tonka. But definitely this smells similar to Arabian Tonka, and you can definitely pick up that this has been inspired by that original fragrance. Now let's talk about performance, and this is where I was a little bit let down. I'm not saying that this fragrance is not a good performing scent. I just expected it to be, let's say, a little bit longer lasting. In my personal experience, this has been giving me around about the 8-hour mark, at least so far, no more than that. I've had this for about 2 weeks now, so maybe it's still going through that process of maceration or maturation or steeping or aging or whatever you want to call it. But definitely I had slightly higher expectations when it comes to performance. Projection is decent. I would say about an hour and a half to maybe up to 2 hours of above average projection, but to be honest, I had a slightly better expectation, slightly higher expectations of this one. So it's a strong scent, but definitely not as strong as I expected it to be. The other thing which is a little bit iffy in my opinion is the pricing. Now, at least here in Europe, or at least in my country, this fragrance usually goes for around about 60 euros for a 75 milliliter bottle size. And I got it for slightly less, but I got it off a sale, but still I paid about 50 euros. And at that price point of around about 50, 55, 60 euros, you can get very not easily, but probably for a similar amount of money, you can get a 50 or a 60 milliliter bottle size of Arabian Tonka. I don't exactly remember at the moment which was that smaller bottle size of Montal fragrances, but this is priced very, very similarly to the smaller bottle size of the Montal, the original Montal fragrance. And that's where this is, I don't know, like it's a bit questionable where you have to go with this one, or you can maybe add a few more dollars or euros and go with the original fragrance, which in my experience offers similar quality but definitely offers a better performance. So if this was priced a little bit lower, I would have said that this is a good deal, but at the price point that it currently is going for, I would say it's a little bit of a tough decision where to go with this one or with the original. And when it comes to versatility, I think this is a unisex fragrance just like the original one is, and it's definitely more orientated towards the colder months of the year because of the sweetness, the spiciness, the ouds used in it. And again, I would say it's more of a nighttime fragrance. And at the end, a very quick few final words on Dubai Night, Amber Oud Dubai Night from Al Haramain. As usual, the quality here is absolutely superb. I expected nothing less from Al Haramain, and the Amber Oud line and Dubai Night delivered on that front. It smells nice, it smells of high quality, definitely comes really nicely packaged, very luxuriously. It has a pressurized sprayer, it has good performance, although not as good as I expected. So as a fragrance on its own, this is really, really nice. But at the price point that this is selling, I think it's a bit of a tough sell, because for a similar amount of money, maybe a little bit more, you can get the original fragrance that this has been inspired by, and that's Montal's Arabian Tonka. And when I get a clone fragrance which is very closely priced to the original fragrance that it's been inspired by, it's very tough for me personally to recommend actually going with this instead of going with the original one. But if you find the original a little bit too sharp, maybe a little bit too spicy, maybe a little bit too sweet, you can check out, but you like that scent profile, you can check out Amber Oud Dubai Night. But again, I personally like it a lot and enjoy it, but at the price point that this is selling and being priced so close to the original fragrance, I think it's a tough sell and a tough recommendation. And so guys, in today's video I shared with you my experience with Amber Oud Dubai Night from the brand of Al Haramain. A very high quality scent, but unfortunately a little bit pricey. I hope that you found this video interesting to watch or helpful. If you did, give it a like. And I also hope that you're going to join me tomorrow for your daily dose of some fragrance content. And until then, stay safe and bye bye.